Every morning holds a power few people ever tap into. While most sleep through opportunity or reach for distraction the moment they open their eyes, the truly wise begin their day with a different posture, a posture of devotion, not obligation, not routine, but sincere devotion, a deep, daily appointment with the power that governs this universe. Let me tell you something that will reframe how you see your mornings forever. Your mind, in the early hours, is like a field freshly plowed, still, fertile, untouched. What you plant there will grow roots deep into your day, and if you do it consistently, into your destiny. The thoughts, words, and spiritual alignment you place into the morning hours will stretch into your habits, decisions, relationships, and even your income. Yes, your income, because a man who starts his day aligned with purpose, with peace, with clarity, he operates at a different frequency than the man who simply wakes up and reacts to life. You've been told before that time is your greatest asset. That's not entirely true. Time used with intention is your greatest asset. The man who gives his first waking hour to God, to focus, to purpose, walks through the rest of the day with a fire in his soul and a calm in his spirit. That man cannot be shaken by delay, by offense, by the foolishness of others, because he has already gone to the source. He has already drawn his power from a higher well. I want you to imagine this. What if, instead of grabbing your phone, scrolling through updates and messages, you began each day by going deep within? What if, before the noise of the world had a chance to distract you, you already aligned yourself with peace, with gratitude, with divine wisdom? That single act, done consistently, will begin to change everything about you. Not overnight, but in time, you'll become someone you've only dreamed of being. Morning devotion is not a religious duty. It is a strategic weapon. It is your time to direct the energy of your day before the chaos begins. You don't rise just to face the day. You rise to command it. When you wake up and devote your first thoughts to something greater than yourself, you begin to see that you're not alone. You are part of something infinitely wise and powerful. And when you recognize this, worry begins to shrink. Anxiety loses its grip. You stop begging life to be easier, and you start commanding yourself to be stronger, wiser, more aligned. And let me tell you this, it is not just about praying for blessings. Morning devotion is not just about asking for something. It's about becoming something. Becoming focused, becoming faithful, becoming fearless. And these are not emotional highs that come and go. These are muscles you develop in silence, in solitude, when the rest of the world is still sleeping. Have you ever wondered why some people just seem to walk in favor? Why their path seems ordered? Why their presence carries authority, calm, and confidence? It's because long before anyone saw them, they had already bowed their heads in reverence and risen with renewed power. They had already trained their minds to see problems as opportunities and trials as training. They had already asked for guidance, not just blessings. You can't rise above life if you begin your day beneath your distractions. Morning devotion is the discipline that builds leaders, inventors, visionaries. It is how you train your emotions, how you focus your intentions, how you master your internal world. And when you master your internal world, nothing in the external world can intimidate you for long. The truth is, life will test you. Every day, you'll face traffic, delays, disrespect, betrayal, uncertainty. But when you've already been in the secret place, when you've already received strength and direction, you walk through the storm with dry feet. Others panic. You pivot. Others curse the day. You command it. People will ask you, how do you stay so calm, so grounded? They won't understand that your mornings are your altar, that before they even opened their eyes, you had already conquered the most important part of your day. Your mindset, your focus, your spirit. And you don't need hours. You need intention. You need presence. You need 5, 10, 20 minutes where your soul is tuned like an instrument to its highest note. And then, watch what happens. You begin to attract different people. New ideas come to you. Peace finds you even in the middle of pressure. Why? Because you are no longer reacting from your wounds. You are acting from your wisdom. Do not underestimate the power of a practiced morning. This is not magic. This is mastery. And it begins the moment you decide that your day belongs to something greater than emails and schedules, that your thoughts are too precious to be shaped by the chaos of social media, that your focus is too valuable to be handed over to anything that doesn't feed your purpose. You want more out of life. Start where life begins each day, in the morning. Your success, your clarity, your peace, your wealth, your health. These are all extensions of what you practice daily. They are not accidents, they are results. And one of the greatest habits that breeds all other success is morning devotion, because it turns your attention inward and upward. And when you are aligned inwardly, the world begins to respond to you differently. People think discipline is hard. You know what's harder? Regret, confusion, drifting. That's what happens when you skip the inner work. When you don't pause to align yourself with truth and intention, you become a slave to circumstances. But when you do the inner work, when you make your morning sacred, your external world begins to reflect that sacredness. There's something sacred about silence, about stillness. It is in this stillness that revelation speaks. That answers you've been looking for begin to rise within. That the clutter in your mind begins to part like clouds, and light comes through. You start seeing with clarity, feeling with wisdom, choosing with peace. You can go through this life as a wanderer or as a warrior, and the warrior does not begin his day with noise. He begins in stillness, in reverence, in alignment. You can either let life lead you, or you can meet it with a clear spirit and a renewed mind. But you can't do both. This morning devotion I speak of, it changes your posture. You stop begging and you start believing. You stop fearing and you start focusing. You stop chasing peace and you start carrying it. And slowly it will transform how you speak, how you respond, how you carry yourself. You stop being a thermometer reacting to the temperature of life, and you become the thermostat. You set the temperature for everything around you. That's the power of spiritual alignment. You start looking at obstacles differently. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? You begin to grow faster than the problem. You become larger than the challenge. And that's when life begins to open doors. That's when provision and favor begin to follow you. Not because you're chasing them, but because you're aligned with something higher. And they recognize your frequency. It's not the world that has to change. It's your alignment that changes how you experience the world. Morning devotion is not about performance. It's about presence. Not about saying the right words, but about being in the right state. It's about asking for strength, but also listening for wisdom. It's about realigning your thoughts, your goals, your vision with your Creator. Let every morning be your reset, your refocus, your reignition. If you want to know how far a man will go, ask what he does with his mornings. If he wastes them, his potential is leaking before the world even sees him. But if he protects them, uses them to listen, to learn, to align, then that man is going somewhere. That man cannot be stopped. Let me leave you with this idea. You are only one devoted morning away from a shift in how you see everything. And once you taste the power of a focused, spiritually aligned morning, you won't want to go back. Because you'll realize that what you've been searching for all this time, peace, clarity, direction, it was never out there. It was waiting for you right here in the silence of your morning. You must understand this: the world responds not to your business, but to your clarity. And clarity is not stumbled upon by accident. It is cultivated deliberately in the sacred hours before the world begins to demand from you. The man who devotes his morning to silence, to prayer, to meditation, to affirming the truth of who he is, he begins to see life instead of just reacting to it. He listens differently. He walks differently. And most importantly, he chooses differently. You'll notice it in your decisions. You'll pause before reacting. You'll feel something guiding you to say less, to think more, to wait before you act, and to act with intention when the moment comes. That is not weakness. That is power under control. That is wisdom in motion. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't need to know exactly what to say in your devotion. Just show up. Just come with an open heart. Speak honestly. Ask real questions. Offer your gratitude. Sit in silence. The goal is not to perform, but to align. And in that alignment, you will notice that the weight you use to carry starts to lift. Not because the problems disappear, but because you no longer face them alone. People will wonder why things start flowing for you, why doors open, why ideas come to you. It's not luck. It's not chance. It's the result of spiritual discipline, consistency in the inner world. It's the harvest of the seeds you plant in the morning when no one is watching. You see, the man who builds himself in secret cannot be broken in public. You can take his money. You can test his patience. You can question his worth. But you cannot rattle his soul, because his soul has been rooted, grounded, fed daily before he ever stepped foot into the battlefield of the world. There's a kind of quiet power that begins to live in you when you start your day like this. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to prove to be respected. You carry something. It's invisible but undeniable, and those around you begin to feel it. And let's speak plainly. This world is noisy, distracting, fast. You will not accidentally drift into greatness. You will not stumble into peace. If you don't intentionally claim your mornings, they will be claimed by everything and everyone else. And once you've given your peace away, you spend the rest of the day trying to get it back. But when you start your day with devotion, with quiet, with scripture, with gratitude, with intention, you protect your mind. You guard your energy. You build your spirit. And once that becomes your habit, life begins to obey your leadership, because you are no longer a servant to your circumstances. You are a servant to a higher power, and that power begins to lead you. Understand this: the most dangerous man is not the one who speaks loudly. It's the one who knows himself and has already spoken with his Creator before the day begins. That man is focused. That man is guided. That man is untouchable, not because trouble won't come, but because trouble can't move him. Every morning, you are given a divine opportunity to either step into power or slip into passivity, and the difference is often only 10 to 15 minutes of sincere, sacred time. Time to breathe, time to surrender, time to declare who you are, time to remember why you're here. You won't always feel like doing it. There will be mornings you'd rather roll over and sleep. But let me tell you something. Discipline done in silence becomes destiny revealed in public. And what you deny yourself in comfort, you gain tenfold in clarity, in confidence, in peace. Think of your mind like a lens. Each morning it is fogged by sleep, by stress, by yesterday's weight. Morning devotion is the cloth that clears the lens. That helps you see what's really in front of you. That helps you move from confusion to certainty, from fear to faith. People chase strategies. They chase hacks, shortcuts, routines. But the man who understands the power of starting his day in alignment doesn't need 10 tricks. He needs one truth. That truth is this: if I get my spirit right, my thoughts right, my focus right in the morning, everything else falls into place. It's not about controlling life. It's about preparing your soul so that no matter what life throws at you, you respond from wisdom instead of reaction. Morning devotion trains this in you. It rewires your nervous system. It resets your emotional baseline. It makes peace your default, not chaos. And what happens when peace becomes your default? You stop wasting energy on arguments that don't matter. You stop attaching your worth to approval. You start recognizing distraction from destiny. You become sharper, clearer, more selective. That's when you level up. Let other people rush out the door. Let them wake up and react. Let them run from one thing to the next without grounding themselves. You do it differently. You walk into your day having already been filled. You don't start empty. You start anchored. Because that's what morning devotion really is, an anchor. It keeps you steady when the tide of life pulls at you, when the wind of circumstances blows hard, when deadlines mount and tensions rise. The man with an anchor does not drift. He remains. And the results, they start to speak for themselves. Your relationships improve. Your stress decreases. Your ability to hear divine direction increases. You stop chasing and start attracting. Not because you're doing more, but because you're being more present, more intentional, more connected to the source of all things. The more you practice this, the more you'll realize you don't just do morning devotion. It does you. It reshapes you. It sharpens you. It gives you something that no amount of external success can replicate. An inner richness, a power that can't be purchased, a presence that can't be faked. And here's what's fascinating. You start becoming an answer for others. Not because you have all the answers, but because your presence carries peace. Because your words carry weight. Because people sense that you are not just reacting to life. You are led. This kind of transformation doesn't need fanfare. It doesn't come with applause, but it comes with alignment, with clarity, with conviction. And conviction, my friend, will carry you further than talent ever could. So now, the question is not, can you change your life? It's, will you? Will you choose to meet each morning with reverence instead of resistance? Will you protect those first sacred moments of your day like your future depends on them? Because it does. Will you rise before the world demands from you, and instead command the world with a spirit already anchored in truth? The power you've been searching for, the peace you've been chasing, the direction you've been begging for, it has been waiting on you to show up in the stillness of the morning. Not just once, but daily, faithfully, consistently, because devotion is not an act, it's a lifestyle. This world will try to shape you, but the one who rises in devotion shapes the world around him. He walks through storms with his eyes set higher. He doesn't shrink in the face of adversity. He stands, knowing that he's already been fortified by something greater than himself. So let this be your turning point. Let today be the last day you ever wake up without purpose. Let tomorrow be the first morning you rise with intention. And then watch how everything begins to shift in your favor. Watch how doors open, not by force, but by favor. Watch how you walk, not rushed, but rooted. Because the man who devotes his mornings to God, to purpose, to peace, he doesn't just change his mornings, he changes his life.